Cowabunga dudes, it's your boy Victory Dragon King Daigo here, and today for player profiles, please don't shorten the name because I want to stay monetized, we are talking about the ever fun and fun-loving Revelers. Okay, so what is a Reveler? A Reveler is best defined by their penchant for big spells, flashy plays, and overall jovial nature. This can manifest itself in one of two ways. At the lower power levels, it's going to be your Timmies, your classic stompy players. They play big stuff that's like really insane. So it's going to be like your 1,000-Year Storm players, your Dino players, and a couple of the Atla players in there. I see you. I see you doing the honest work. They're playing stuff that is just huge, loud, proud, and in charge. And more power to them. We need more players like this. Keeps the combo players honest when they can't just draw like 30 cards a game, you know. And then at the higher power level, you'll have stuff like typically more focused decks that are like Storm and like Underworld Breach kind of decks. Those are what you're going to see at the higher power levels. They do have some of that same thing in terms of like big, powerful spells, but usually those spells are going to take the form of like ad nauseum as opposed to something like an Eldrazi Titan. And with that, we have our player like symbol, like player profiles in terms of like who that you would know would be under these archetypes. So for the lower power levels, I like to always point to Ashlyn Rose of the Command Zone. I hope I said her last name right. Please, I apologize if I'm not saying any of you guys' names right. It's not intentional, I swear. I just suck at names. Ashlyn Rose is very much the quintessential Reveler because, and I'm sorry if I'm assuming your gender, it's been a while since I've watched the Command Zone. She was very much about playing those big stompy creatures. So for example, she loves her Eldrazi Titans. She absolutely just completely loves them. I'm impartial to them. I like them more as shuffle pieces, but hey, I'm not going to yuck your yum. So what you can expect from like that kind of power level is going to be stuff like Galtas, Ulamogs, either one, and those things of that sort, where it's like just like, oh yeah, big beefy bodies with big beefy stats that do a bunch of big beefy things that are just walls of text and like 12 mana or something. Whereas for like stuff in higher power levels, they're usually going to be like playing like really good, like really strong spells and really strong commanders. So I like to point to the example of Dylan from Play to Win. He likes casts and like those types of spells where it's like your wheels, your ad nauseums, cards that like are big and explosive, but also don't necessarily just outright win you the game with their big and explosiveness. Now, ad nauseum, more than 9 times out of 10 will win you the game. However, there's always that 30% chance it doesn't, apparently, even if you get your entire deck. But with that being said, like that's typically what you're going to go against. And so how to play into or around a Reveler is quite simple. Stop the big spell, the 1 or 2 big spells they're playing, or just let them cast their big spells and pretty much play your own game. Because the thing is, like, as long as you don't incur the wrath of a Reveler, or like you put them in, you get in their sights for any circumstances, you're probably gonna have a good time in terms of playing around them. Because you're just gonna be like, wow, that's insane that you did that. That's hilarious. I wouldn't have ad naused for like 3 life, but you do you, hun. So that's my like advice against playing against a Reveler. You have Revelers, you already know. So what decks would Revelers play? Well, at the lower power levels, I've already mentioned some of the commanders, but like Atla, Patlani, Animar, and possibly any type of reanimation deck, so like Carador, stuff like that. Any deck that like allows you to cheat in really big spells for no reason that you should not be casting at that one. Yisan is another good example. Sisay, Weatherlight Captain, who's also leading into the higher power level stuff. So higher level, power level, like Reveler commanders are going to be like Sisay, Cass, and another good one is well, he's banned. That other one's banned. So I'm just gonna say Weatherlight Captain and Kess for now. And then what cast really large spells? Maybe Cody? Yeah, Cody, I think is the next best thing. Because I was gonna say Golos, but Golos is super banned. So yeah, those are gonna be your Reveler type commanders that you're gonna like face against. And so with that, this is probably a shorter episode than usual. I am Victory Dragon King Dago here, and have a good night. I'll see y'all later.